The Hadith, writings of Islam. While most people understand that the Bible of the Muslims is called the Quran, they do not generally know that the religion of Islam has other sacred writings which are viewed by Muslims as being just as inspired and authoritative as the Quran. The other Islamic Bible is called the Hadith. It is a collection of early Muslim traditions which record the words and deeds of Muhammad according to his wives, family members, friends, and Muslim leaders, which are not usually found in the Quran. The inspired Hadith. The Muslim scholar Dr. Muhammad Hamidullah, in his book Introduction to Islam, states that the custodian and repository of the original teachings of Islam are found above all in the Quran and the Hadith. To this he adds that the Quran and the Hadith are the basis of all Islamic law. The reason, according to Dr. Hamidullah, that Muslims revere the Hadith as well as the Quran is that the Hadith is as divinely inspired as the Quran itself. The teachings of Islam are based primarily on the Quran and the Hadith, and, as we shall presently see, both are boasted on divine inspiration. This is why Muslim writers such as Hamidullah Abdelatati, in his book Islam in Focus, the Muslim Converts Association of Singapore, state that the Hadith is considered the second source of Islam because all the articles of faith are based upon and derived from the teachings of the Quran and the traditions, the Hadith of Muhammad. Thus, it is no surprise to find that the material in the Hadith is considered inspired and authoritative to Orthodox Muslims. All right, getting into the translation we will use of the Hadith. Okay, the translation we will use. We are using the 9-volume translation of the Hadith made by Dr. Muhammad Mushin Khan, entitled The Translation of the Meaning of Sahih al-Bukhari. It is recommended and approved by all Muslim authorities, including the spiritual heads of Mecca and Medina. Based upon al-Bukhari, Dr. Khan's work is a faithful translation of the Hadith, put together by none other than the greatest of all Hadith scholars, al-Bukhari. The introduction states, "It has been unanimously agreed that Imam Bukhari's work is the most authentic of all the other works in Hadith literature put together. The authenticity of al-Bukhari's work is such that the religious learned scholars of Islam said concerning him, the most authentic book after the book of Allah, the Quran, is Sahih al-Bukhari. He only chose approximately 7,275 hadith, of which there is no doubt about their authenticity. Allah revealed to him the glorious Quran and the second inspiration, i.e. his traditions. It is incumbent upon you to stress hard to do righteous deeds according to the traditions of Muhammad, as is clearly expressed in his Hadith. Dr. Khan does not hesitate to describe the Hadith as the second inspiration and to state that it is incumbent upon every Muslim to believe and to obey it. The Muslim dilemma. The reason that we went to such lengths to prove the highest religious authorities of Islam view the Hadith as being inspired and authoritative is that many Muslims will deny this when confronted with some of the obviously absurd teachings of Muhammad. In one radio program, one Muslim caller argued in a circle as follows: Muhammad was Allah's prophet. Therefore, he could not have said something so stupid as to suggest that we should drink camel urine. Thus you are a liar, Dr. Morey. The Hadith cannot say this. After I went on to prove from the Hadith that Muhammad did indeed recommend camel urine, he responded, "We Muslims only recognize the Holy Quran as God's book. We do not accept the Hadith as inspired." Of course, he had to deny the inspiration of the Hadith in order to avoid having to defend Muhammad on the drinking of urine. We understand the dilemma of modern Muslims. While they desperately want to maintain that Muhammad was Allah's apostle, yet the Hadith clearly reveals that Muhammad could not be inspired because he taught many things which are not only patently wrong, but absurd. The final straw. To the Western mind, the material found in the Hadith is the proverbial final straw that breaks the camel's back. If Muhammad was truly a prophet and an apostle, then Muslims must defend the indefensible. On the Quran and the Hadith. The Quran was written in heaven, according to Hadith number 643, volume 9. Thus, no earthly pre-Islamic sources for the material found in the Quran should exist. But they do exist in great abundance. Thus, it is no surprise to find that the Quran was written in the Quraysh dialect. This fact is often not known by non-Arab Muslims. The Quran, after Muhammad's death, was scattered on palm leaves, rocks, and bones. Thus, the Hadith itself bears witness to the fact that Muhammad did not prepare a manuscript of the Quran before his death. As a matter of record, the Hadith confirms that the Quran was put together by the Caliph Uthman after Muhammad died. This point is often denied by those Muslims who are ignorant of their own scriptures. Uthman got the Quran compiled and sent a few of its copies to far-off places. Uthman wrote the manuscripts of the Holy Quran in the form of a book. See also volumes 6, numbers 507 and 510. When Uthman finished his version, I guess I better correct that spelling, finished his version of the Quran, the Hadith records that he tried to destroy all the conflicting Qurans. This is clear proof that there was conflicting versions of the Quran. And the fact that the Quran is missing certain verses and that other verses were abrogated is admitted in the Hadith in these volumes. The Hadith even records that when certain people died, those portions of the Quran known only to them perished with them. The Hadith records that Muhammad at times was bewitched and said and saw things under satanic inspiration. This admission on the part of the Hadith destroys in principle the Muslim claim that Muhammad was infallibly inspired. Since it is admitted that Muhammad at times did and said things under satanic inspiration, then this in principle calls into question everything he did and said. Like the Quran, the Hadith puts speeches into the mouths of biblical characters such as Noah, Moses, Jesus, and so on, which they could not have spoken because of the vocabulary used, the doctrines taught, the historical references made. They are clearly fraudulent. And here are some references. The Hadith admits that it has variant readings and contradictory Hadiths. The translator admits in a footnote contradicts the Hadith of Al-Hasan. Like the Quran, some Hadiths were cancelled or abrogated. And we have on apostasy. The Hadith makes the repeated claim that no one ever leaves Islam. He then asked, does anybody amongst those who embrace Muhammad's religion, become displeased and renounce the religion afterwards? I replied, no. Then it contradicts itself by saying that death is the punishment for those who leave. The Prophet said, if someone, a Muslim, discard his religion of Islam, kill him. It even records the murders of those who left Islam for another religion. Volume 9 of the Hadith has an entire section dedicated to warning those who would leave Islam that they will be murdered. So, wherever you find them, kill them, for whoever kills them shall have a reward on the day of resurrection. On Jews and Christians. Muhammad taught that the Jews worshipped Ezra as the son of Allah, just as Christians worship Jesus as the son of Allah. He was wrong on both counts. Muhammad said any Jews or Christians who heard about me and did not believe in me and what was revealed to me of the Holy Quran and my traditions, his ultimate destination is the hell fire. According to Hadith number 414, volume 2, Muhammad said, Allah cursed the Jews and the Christians because they took the graves of their prophets as places for worship. Muhammad on women. Muhammad taught that the majority of the people in hell were women. The prophet said, I was shown the hellfire, and that the majority of its dwellers were women. The reason for the majority of the people in hell were women is stated in volume 2, 541. Oh, women, I have not seen anyone more deficient in intelligence and religion than you. Muhammad believed that women were deficient in intelligence, and thus they should not be given equal rights under Islamic law. For example, he legislated that a woman's testimony in court was worth only half that of a man. Thus, it would take the testimony of 2 women to offset the testimony of 1 man. Imagine what this would do to women who were raped. The prophet said, instead, isn't the witness of a woman equal to half of that of a man? The women said, yes, he said, this is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind. Muhammad even ruled that women are to receive only half of what their brothers receive in inheritance. Thus, women are financially punished for being females. Perhaps the most degrading picture of women is that paradise will have beautiful women, whose only purpose is to satisfy the sexual urges of men chained to different corners. The statement of Allah, beautiful women chained in pavilions. Allah's apostle said, in paradise there is a pavilion made up of a single hollow pearl, 60 miles wide, and each corner there are wives who will not see those in the other corners, and the believers will visit and enjoy them. On urine and feces. Muhammad had a psychological obsession with urine and feces. In fact, he spent a great deal of time teaching on where, when, and how to urinate and defecate. He was so obsessed with the subject that he taught that if someone got urine on his clothes or body, they suffered hellfire in the afterlife. One of the major sins is not to protect oneself, one's clothes and body, from one's urine, from being soiled with it. Once the prophet, while passing one of the graveyards of Medina or Mecca, heard the voices of 2 persons being tortured in their graves. The prophet then added, yes, they are being tortured for a major sin. Indeed, one of them never saved himself from being soiled with his urine. According to volume 2, 443, Muhammad said that people are tortured in hellfire because they soil themselves with urine. Yet at the same time, Muhammad ordered people to drink camel urine mixed in milk as medicine. So the prophet ordered them to go to the herd of camels and to drink their milk and urine as a medicine. The rules for urination and defecation are as follows. You must not face Medina when urinating or defecating. You must not use your right hand to hold or wipe yourself. You must wash your privates after going to the bathroom. Muhammad's believe or not. Muhammad taught many things which seemed to modern reader to be patently absurd. Some of his beliefs were so far out that no one today could possibly accept or defend them. Yet we recognize that sincere Muslims must do so and give up their claim that he was Allah's apostle. We understand the difficulty. How can they defend the indefensible? How can they justify what is so obviously absurd? This is the crux of the matter. The following teachers of Muhammad are a partial list of some of the strange things he taught to his disciples. The Colossus Adam. In the Hadith number 543, volume 4, we read, the prophet said, Allah created Adam, making him 60 cubits tall. This would make Adam about 90 feet tall. Was Adam really as tall as a 3-story building? How tall was Eve and their children? And why are we not that tall? How could he stand if he were that heavy? Does not the science of human anatomy tell us that Adam could not have been 60 cubits tall? What Muslim is prepared to defend Muhammad's 90-foot Adam? The fly in the cup. If a fly falls into your cup, do not worry about it, because Muhammad said that while one wing has the disease, the other has the antidote. So drink up. No dogs allowed. Angels will not enter a house if a dog is there, according to volumes 4, 539. Then Hadith number 544 reads, Allah's apostle ordered that dogs should be killed. Dog lovers would not make good Muslims. Islamic genetics. Muhammad claimed that Gabriel gave him the secret as to why a child looks like its father on its mother. This answer was given to prove that Muhammad was Allah's apostle. He declared, as for the resemblance of the child to his parents, if a man has sexual intercourse with his wife and gets a discharge first, the child will resemble the father. And if the woman gets her discharge first, the child will resemble her. What modern Muslims is prepared to prepare that one's discharge and not genetics is the key to the